What do you spend on a first date? So I'm gonna bring up some numbers here. This is provided by Money Geek. The average cost of an American first date is $123. The most expensive city to date somebody is Miami, where it's 156. DC 153. Seattle is 150. For us here in New York, average price of a date in New York City is $140. I'm gonna throw it to the professor first. Professor, what you think about those?
Are you sure these numbers are correct? You could take somebody out for a date in New York for $140.
This is going by the classic dinner and a movie standard.
Wow.
If you wanted to go
because
to a movie
dinner.
That's a lot, bro. That's a lot to get done in one
Bro, I'm thinking those numbers are kind of lowballing it, because if you look at it, when you go out for dinner in New York City, unless you're hitting a nice little cafeteria spot, you're usually spending around $200 for dinner, unless I'm bugging. And I'm not big on spending $200 for dinner, dude. I'll put that out there.
Well, I'll put this to a lot of things that drive the price of dinners up is the drinks. So if you're somebody who don't drink, you just go get a meal. The meal won't be that expensive. When you start getting 2-3 iced teas or whatever, that's where the price comes in.
And let me interject, those drinks are not even worth it, because they don't even put a full shot in these drinks nowadays. And I'm not saying to be an alcoholic, but if you pay for something, you should get what you pay for. And a lot of these, especially New York City restaurants, are overcharging you, not putting what you pay for in the drink, and then give you that bill. I went out with the wife last week, and we went to dinner. Just the two of us went to one of those little, those little steam seafood baggy places where they put the seafood in the bag and they shake it up and give it to
Those like a Cajun spot, like a
little Cajun spot,
or whatever,
And just for the two of us and little drinks, it came to like $150. We had some appetizers. This is true. So I'm looking at it like that. If you have the appetizers and you go hit the movies is going to be about $60 to $80 for two people. You're talking about a good $200-$300 for a first date.
I just went to the movies this weekend, man. It was $16 per person just for the ticket.
Yeah.
So bam, that's 32 bones, and then you got some popcorn, some drinks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree with you, bro. You're gonna spend $80 at the movie theater. So I'm not sure about the 140.
So what you do when you go to the theater, first you grab 2 bottles of Poland Spring. You make sure that the woman you're with has a purse big enough for you to fit the Poland Spring. Bang, no drink. You go to the popcorn stand, you get a popcorn, you share it. If they charge for extra butter, you just getting 1 slab of butter. Bam, you saved on the butter. Finally now, if you're going to do the Uber, you got to see how she's feeling about it. Or you're going to, go half on the Uber. But I truly believe in making sure that everybody gets safe home. I will pay for the Uber. However, if you live in the Bronx, and let's say we're in Brooklyn, we may have a discussion. Go ahead.
Hold on. We're not just here to bring you just a male perspective, because men can just say whatever. What we need to do is we got to give you what the ladies think about this. So we got a special guest coming in for this conversation. But can you tell us your name? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Queenie.
So Queenie.
Hey,
Queenie, Professor G on the first date wants to take you to Crown Fried Chicken, get you some chicken, some Snapples.
Wait. Before we get there,
what? That's not what we do.
Queenie hold up. And don't say Professor G's going to do it, have my wife shooting at me. But Queenie, tell us a little bit about yourself first before we get into your business.
All right. I'm Queenie. I work in education. I'm 30. I crochet. I'm pretty chill. I think I'm on the road to rehabilitation, former crash out.
Wait, hold on.
Wow, it just got deep real fast.
You're a drug addict? What are you doing?
Former crash out.
She didn't say. She said crash out. Tell us what a crash out.
What is a crash out?
I'm too gangster sometimes. That's all, and I gotta just turn the gangster down because
Oh, so you be putting them in their place, and
sometimes it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
Okay, so all right, so we go.
So you're not just in rehabilitated. You're like
On the road. I'm on
You're
the
on the
road.
road to rehabilitation.
Okay, so
gotcha.
you're
She is a work in progress. Aren't we
Work in
all?
progress.
Like you got like your
progress.
21-day chip of like
Wow.
not spending.
Can I give you just one word of advice though? On the first date, don't tell them you're a crash out.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Listen, former. My past.
Don't do that
Past
no more.
life.
She's delivered.
I'm delivered. Amen.
With a
Amen.
capital T. All right. So Queenie, this is the question. We talking about first dates. What do you expect from a man on a first date?
I think that's a tricky question. I think it depends on.
That is a straightforward question.
No, it's not. I'm a woman, so no, it's not.
Let's give the background information we do have about Queenie that she shared with us. So Queenie told us she's single and she is looking to marry a Haitian marine biologist.
Yes.
So if so Jamaican doctor is out.
No. Yes. We gotta follow that. Okay, so where Professor G is coming with that from is all right. I believe that's what God told me, so I'm holding on to that.
Okay.
So that's where that's coming from. Where I've
so how will you know on the first date? Because we're talking about on the first. How will you know you're on the road to that from the first date?
I wouldn't 100% know. I mean, I guess if they just fit the criteria, on the superficial level.
What impresses you on the first date?
How thoughtful you were. So, I'm Caribbean. If you pick out a fire, Caribbean place that plays live music and has art on the wall. And it's like, wow, you chose this place because, it's cultural, it's meaningful, that kind of thing. The conversation, because those two things. I'll say the vibe, the conversation, and how much thought you put into the location that we're currently at. For me.
So
it's less cost.
These C squared, some of the things that they mentioned.
And we have our guest host, the beautiful Miss Minga, joining us to bring the female perspective. Go ahead, Miss Minga.
They were like saying that some women, like when they go out on dates, like they try to find like the lobster tail, like the most expensive place. And then like in their minds, it determines how much a man actually values them. Do you agree with that?
No, how well you listen to me and what I like, because you bring me to a damn European restaurant, I don't know, or a damn German restaurant, I don't know none of the food. It's boring, it's dry.
What's wrong with some shepherd's pie? Like, why we can't get some shepherd's pie and pretzel?
If that's what you like, I love that for you. But if you were listening to me, I need you to show me that you were listening to me, baby.
Right.
Now, if we're past the first date and you're like, hey, I like this place and I want you to try it, then that's a little bit different. I'm like, okay, hey, let's go. But for the first date, nah. Did you listen to me? I don't care how much you spend necessarily. Did you do something that I liked? That's it.
So let's say if he said something that you like, what would the next date be like according to what C squared says? Is it something that he would like? That
it could be something he would like. Now it's your turn. We got to get to know you a little bit better. Bring me into your world. So yeah.
Why do you come first?
You're courting me.
That's a fact.
Anyone ever try to send you money? Like ask for your cash out?
Yeah.
And
let me not say like it happens all the time, but occasionally, here or there.
And you share the cash out?
No.
No. I want to go into that. So like, what does the message look like when a guy is like trying to take you out and they're offering you money? Like, how does that? Like, how do you send that message? Because that's just foreign to me.
They have different ways, but like, damn, I want to see you, like, or more so, I would say it's more so responding to something. So like, I'll put something in my story and they'll more so like respond to it, like, oh, I got you on that, or I'll send you this. And, like, that's more so.
What's the most money you've ever been offered?
What you mean? Oh, how much money I've been offered?
Yeah.
Probably like $50. Me personally.
Just to come and meet, like, just
yeah. Reality, I know you're not sending me $50 for me to have a great day. Like, eventually you're gonna want to like, so that's why I don't really.
So Queenie, you're talking about what could happen next. You're thinking about the quote unquote indebtedness that you're accepting by accepting the money.
Yes.
All right.
So
That's
I
what I'm
don't
talking
engage.
about. Okay. So if it's $500 Cash App, no.
I mean, I can't never say never because I haven't been in that position. I would say maybe before when my money wasn't right, I was, or maybe on a week where it's not my pay week and I'm stressed. But in reality, I would say 85% of the time, even 90% of the time, no, thank you. I'm good.
Queenie, we appreciate you coming on the Mantastic Experience. Let the people know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So my brand is Crafted. I put the Q in Crafted. I have an Etsy shop. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at QRAFTED Crafted.
We're back. We got Miss Minga joining us, our guest host. We got Kev on Fragrance. Kev, help these guys smell good on this date.
Yeah, how you doing? This is Kev's on Fragrances. I got it. Tobacco Rose by BDK. This is a nice sensual fragrance for men and women, so both people could wear them. So when you go on a first date night, you want to wear something nice and sophisticated, nice and smooth that a girl could come and get close to you. Or if it's a girl wearing it, a guy can get close and smell it.
Let me see that bottle again. What you said you had BDK. Let me see that bottle again.
BDK.
All right, what does that BDK stand for?
That's the person.
I'm thinking
name.
Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane is what I'm thinking. He's
it's
raw.
actually the name of the person that owns the company. That's just his initials. I can't remember his name per se.
I want your take on this because I'm somebody I've experimented with different fragrances and scents, so I don't really mind the, I guess as they'll say, the more fruitier scents or the more, I guess, unisex scents.
But I got a lot of pushback. Not being fruity.
You know what? We're not.
You don't mind being fruity.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I missed a part of it.
I'm saying I've experimented with scents, so I've done like the lighter fragrances.
Okay.
But I've gotten pushback from women sometimes. So that's too light for a man. Like, you smell too much like a woman. And then
you've actually had someone tell you that, bro?
Yeah, I've done some. I've done like the Da Vinci's and then those things, and I've done like a little bit lighter ones that's more perfumish than, I guess, cologne-ish. I don't know if that's a proper way to put it, but I've had women say like, nah, that's too fruity, that's too light. Oh, wow. So like, what do you have any, like, what's your opinions on that?
It could depend on the women, depending on the fragrance that you have on also. I wear a lot of niche fragrances, so they're very experimental. So
which one would you recommend for Mr. GP to use if he didn't want to smell get that floral scent? Which one of those
I would do this? I would just do the Superbs by Morocco by Superb.
How much is that? What's this price range?
It's not that bad. It's approximately maybe $100 to $150.
Why can men smell like women, and why can women smell like men?
All right, so there's fragrances that are typically women-based and men-based, right? So women-based fragrances are more floral, either rose, white florals, and men's are usually woody, vetiver, patchouli, sandalwood, right? So this Tobacco Rose by BDK, it has plum in it. It got pink pepper, got Italian lemon, Turkish rose, chocolate, cinnamon, tobacco, and patchouli leaf, and Spanish labdanum, which is a white rose, right? A white flower, right? So with those notes is a mixture of men and feminine fragrance. So both people could wear it, right? So
how many men cologne have that floral sense? Is that something we see on the regular? Men having that floral sense, walking around smelling like a bouquet of roses?
Yes. Nowadays it's more modern. So back in the days, you wouldn't really find much men wearing floral fragrances. Now the way perfumers they make everything modern, so it's like running right on the gender.
So it's a new thing.
I think like men want to smell. Is there? You think are they open to this floral scent?
They should. So what happened is, typically in your mind, when you get floral scents, you're thinking of woman, grandma type of smell. So it's good to sample. So if you go to a store, any and they give you a rose-based fragrance, you should ask for a sample and live with it for a little bit. Spray it in your hand, walk around the mall or whatever, smell it, and see how you feel about it.
This is the Mantastic Experience. Kevlar Fragrance. As always, we appreciate your knowledge, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
We on the Mantastic Experience. Talk about dating, the price of dating, how much you should spend on a date. We're going to bring in Rich. He's going to join Professor G, C Squared, Miss Minga to talk about this topic. Anybody want to throw in anything before Rich jumps in?
If his last name is Rich, we already know who's paying for the date.
Wow. Okay. So, brothers, be named poor. My name is Poverty. So when we go out, you know what to expect.
Hey, it always comes back to, are you simping or are you pimping? So the difference to understand is, if you're pimping, you're doing what you want to do. You're spending the money that you have allotted to spend or budgeted to spend. But if you're simping, you're getting taken for a ride and she's telling you what to spend.
So, Rich, you with us?
I'm with you guys. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're talking about dating, the price of dating, how much you should spend on a first date. So I got a dating site story for you.
Okay.
So there was one time we had a happy hour with one of my boys. So he has his phone, and he's looking me in the eye, and he has his phone like this. He's just doing this. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, he's on such and such site, and he's just clicking on a bunch of different women. He's not even looking at him. He's just clicking on him. And I'm like, so how do you know what you're getting or whatever? And he's like, listen, he just waits for them to respond to him, and then he'll judge them then after they respond. Is that what it is like now? Like, is that what the online dating is, or is that like a bad representation of it?
It's not a bad representation, but for certain dudes out there, it is that real, right? And so, have I had times where I had to just swipe right repeatedly and without looking? Yeah, during down bad times. But I wouldn't say that you have to do that without looking, right? Me personally, when I was on it most recently, I still looked because I didn't want to attract something that I really didn't want, because that can happen. But for a majority of guys, yes, like they're just not even looking, just praying for just one match a week.
So let's break down this technological journey that you took through the dating land to finally actually land somebody. Because you're not somebody here just talking about you're trying to date. You found somebody.
Right, correct.
So then, how did you find someone through this madness of digital dating? Did it happen for you off the jump? Did it take a while? How many people did you have to go through?
So, numbers, I'm not exactly sure, but I can talk about my transition from just, finding meaningless stuff to finding something meaningful.
Hold on 1 second. You said transition. Be specific. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Transition,
wow.
no, the transition from finding something that is less meaningful to more meaningful.
There it is. Okay. All right, go ahead, bro. So what happened in that process?
So honestly, it's still the numbers game that's being played, but if you want me to tell you what's the one thing that really changed in my life that I found success in, it was that, I started working on myself more, right? I started reading more books, learning more things, going to the gym, picking up new skills and hobbies, and that made me more attractive as a mate when I talked about those things, and that provided better quality results.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you need an opportunity. You did need an opportunity to get that shot, right?
Correct.
Somebody had to pass you the ball. So was there anything you were doing to even be able to get to the point where you could start talking about the books you're reading, what you're doing to improve yourself?
Yeah, so it started with taking better photos, right? So online dating, it's a portfolio, right? So if you're posting mirror pics or pics of you doing something stupid, you're not gonna get anything worthwhile, right? So looks are a first impression on that, and it's extremely exaggerated on those platforms. So, took better photos, good portrait photos, had people taking photos of me in a casual setting, things like that, to show I'm just like lighthearted and I'm cool, right? Instead of probably like a weirdo, like a lot of guys portray themselves to be.
And here's why I'll agree. I met a young dog, a young bro, And he was telling me how he gets girls, and he said that he just sends a little $40-$50 to their Cash App, and all of a sudden they're interested. And I'm like, bruh, I hear you, but to me that
Y'all
sounds
playing
like
the game
tricking.
wrong.
And maybe that's the culture nowadays. I'm trying to look at
Is
both
that the
sides.
culture?
So
Right?
is that the culture nowadays?
So, Rich, how much money did you send women to go on dates with you?
How much money did I what?
How much money did you send women to go on dates with you before you got in a relationship?
Never.
Is that why you had to start
I
reading
will-
books? Like,
I
you had to
will
see if this is
never
right?
do that. Never. Listen, I can count on my hands the amount of times I bought a drink. Like, that's one thing with me. I love my money. I want it for me.
Hey, listen, I'm just going to tackle this. Dating, sex is volunteer work. You don't get paid for it. All right? Sending a drink, there's nothing wrong with that. It's an introduction. I would have no problem sending a drink. You get rejected on it, that's fine. That's $10 to $15 loss. It's not a problem.
Right.
But to actually hand you money to talk to me, nah.
Minga, I'm just gonna go there. All right. I apologize in advance. But Minga, if I send you a card and I say, hey, you can spend what you like, do what you gotta do, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night or whatever, next week. And you do that, you spend $200-$300, you hooked it up. To what degree do you feel obligated to take this date to the next level at the end of the year?
I think it should still be the stipulations. If you offered it, we'll just see where it goes. I shouldn't feel like indebted to take it anywhere because you've done that. No,
okay.
Personally.
So don't bite an lobster tail. Okay, we got it.
Okay. Yeah, so there are men that are willing to do that. So it's like, if they're willing to do that, if you like it, I love it.
But to be real, right? Does this person automatically walk into the date, like before you even see this person in person? Is he already starting at a higher level than your average date because he gave you a $300 budget before you showed up?
Absolutely right. Yes, he is starting. Yeah, okay. Of course.
I love Minga's honesty. That's what I love about this.
It's true.
I love the honesty.
It's
if
true.
She had come with anything less than that, I'll just say, stop the show.
Yo, see, Square, we've been talking about this, about the finances and dating. We need the advice from Bob's to Rob's. Rob's are rich old brothers. How do we pay for these dates?
Listen, at the end of the day, you got to make sure you're living within your means. All right, because if you win her with the double porterhouse steak at Brooklyn Chop House, you're gonna have to keep her with the double porterhouse steak at Brooklyn Chop House at least every once in a while. And if it's really not what you can afford, then who are you fooling? Right? That's where I'm starting at. First and foremost, right? Another phrase I wrote down that I wanted to make sure I talked about was, when you're living within your means, it's about paying for what you have to pay for first, and then paying for what you want to pay for after that. And always pay yourself first. What does pay yourself first mean? Paying yourself first means setting up a savings account. And when you get your paycheck, boom, 10% goes into that savings account no matter what.
So let's say you got a date set up. You got enough funds to deal with that date. But there's a shock drop on some Jordans that you need to get. And you got it. And these Jordans would look so fly because you already got the jeans and the shirt and everything and the Yankee fitted that go with the. What do we do to help these brothers out?
So I know what I'm going to say at the end of it. It sounds like unrealistic. It may sound like overly disciplined or whatever. But if ends are tight, man, you've got to get control of your money. So what I'm going to say is if you like to catch that latest drop on the Jordans on the Nike app or whatever, right? Then that needs to be something you're budgeting for at least once a month. Hey, let me take $30 and put it towards the next shoe drop that I want to get. And now you got an account or you got a spot. Well, I'm just saying $30 a month then after 5 months, we'll get those Jordans. If that's not enough, bro, then budget more. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
The price doubles after that, but it's a whole nother resale is a whole nother topic. But go ahead.
But my see, the thing is, we can't be in a situation where we're making impulse purchases. Because if you're making impulse purchases, you're never gonna have a budget. Right? So you pay the bills you have to pay, you pay yourself first, then you pay the bills you have to pay, and then you have some savings that you're setting aside for these types of things. Hey, I like to do this. I like to take the lady out. I like to catch some Jordans every once in a while. At least once a quarter, I want to go out and get some fresh gear so I can look tight. Whatever the case may be, you got to be setting aside some money for that. Because if you're not, then you go to the credit card. And we talked about the credit card, right? The credit card is nowadays, it's like 26, 28%. Are you kidding me? You spend $100 on the credit card. If you just sit there and make the minimum payment, at the end of a year, you still owe over $100. That's the way those credit cards work. And that's if you're making the minimum payment for 12 months. So they're making money off you. You basically become a slave to the credit card company. We don't want to do that. What else? What else? What else we got? So back to your question. I guess the answer is, bro, if you have not been saving for it, you're gonna have to bypass it. One or the other, either the shoe drop or the date. You have to choose.
What I think, it's why wait for tomorrow when tomorrow may never come.
So, C-Square, what's your opinion on that?
I think my first thought was this: you got to set it up in your mind where you're rewarding yourself for other types of things. Now, you talked about how, hey, I just want to feel good. Let me go out and get this fresh gear or whatever. Let me go spend this money. Maybe take my lady out on a nice night, a nice date or whatever. But how rewarding would it be if your monthly savings account statement shows up in the mail, or you're going online, you're checking it out, and you're seeing some commas? That needs to be the reward system that makes us feel good. That's how I am, right? I like to see some big dollars. I like to throw some cash in my safe, and act like my last name is Noriega, right? Like I just like that. I like to kind of feel like I have money. It just makes me feel better, more secure, more safe, whatever. So my point to everyone is change your reward system. What makes you feel good? And then feed that. And a lot of ways you can change your reward system is just daily affirmation, just talking to yourself about where you want to be, what your goals are, how much you want to have in a savings account. And then as you get closer to that goal, you're gonna start feeling better about yourself. Just like you would start feeling better about yourself if you had the fresh J's on, or if you had some nice clothes or whatever.